Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, normal guy who uses Linux. So ignore the content warning at the bottom. It's okay, trust me. Anyway, sorry, I just started a new job, and let me fucking tell you, it is awesome. I'm doing everything that I want to do. Get paid mostly, but yeah, that's basically what I want to do. Anyway, I thought it'd be cool to talk about my journey with Linux. How did I get here? Why did I start using Linux? What made me say, hey, Linux, not a bad operating system? Well, I'm about to take you down on this beautiful, amazing rabbit hole. First thing we're going to start with was how I got my first interaction with Linux. I know this is a very exciting video. I'm sorry the lore dump isn't fantastic, but also sorry I'm shiny. My fucking AC unit is broken. I don't have AC in my house. I'm fucked. I'm literally fucked. I'm as shiny as that guy in the back right there. By the way, if you like what you're seeing today, please consider subscribing to the channel. I am literally 9 subscribers away from hitting 500 subscribers, the milestone everyone shoots for. Why? Because I get paid. Not a lot, but I hopefully will. Alright, let's go back a couple years ago when I was around 17 years old. I downloaded something off the internet. I pirated a video game. Because I had no money. I really did have no money. For whatever reason, my terminal got completely fucked. And I'm not sure why. There wasn't any obvious virus in my computer. Even if there was, my bank account wasn't immediately drained either, so who fucking knows? But whatever happened, my terminal just got completely fucked. Whatever it was, there was an application forcing my terminal into a 50 by 60 square. And it doesn't matter if I use the normal command line, PowerShell window, or the new terminal that Windows offers. I call it new, but at the time it was. For whatever reason, it resized itself into this tiny box, no matter what. And it was basically unusable at some point. So I was like, fuck me, I guess. Nothing I can do. My friend told me about Windows Subsystem for Linux. What's that? Well, basically imagine all the benefits of Windows at the time, and now the benefits of working on a Linux machine. That was basically what it was. And it was fantastic. I was able to compile my projects no problem. I was able to test it. I was able to run command line tools. It was fantastic. That was my first instance of the Linux terminal, and I loved it. It just felt natural, like I was able to just easily go to whatever directory and so on and so forth. It was great. But that was about it for a while. Never really got a good vibe with it otherwise. I just stick with the Windows because this is what I knew and I like gaming. And especially for the time, I didn't realize how far Linux has gotten in gaming. But let's just take it one step at a time. And by all means, if you're gonna be an asshole right now and pause the video at some random point and talk about how stupid I was for not realizing this, that, whatever, what do you want me to do about it? So get ready, because this is kind of funny. There is this guy who made specifically 3 videos. I don't know why he made 3 videos, and his profile picture is literally just from, what's the game? Cruelty Squad. By default, made 3 videos. 2 of them on note-taking, yes, note-taking, and 1 on email services. So for whatever reason, I watched this 30-minute long YouTube video on note-taking. And I was just enlightened, and I just learned about all these new editors. I knew about Vim, I knew about Emacs, but I never wanted to use them because I thought it was kind of pointless to use a keyboard-based editor. So I thought. So going into this video, I knew basically nothing about open source tools or any of that, and I found a lot of interesting tools. And probably the one I used the most was Qown Notes, I think is what it was called. It even allowed you to compile C++ code in the Notes app, which is absolutely insane. That's fucking cool as hell. It talked about Emacs and how Emacs was fantastic. It did everything it wanted to, but it was slow. It was tragically slow. I don't know what happens with Emacs. I have a very basic configuration with Emacs that allows me to use Vim motions and an LSP. That's all I need in life. That's all I need, baby. NeoVim simply was faster, more responsive, and just made sense. Albeit, I did have to install like the most insane extension, specifically Neorg or NeoVim org mode, and that was Wow. It's a fantastic tool as it is, and a fantastic way to take notes, but it's not Emacs or mode. Just for future reference. And this is what essentially got me started with Vim. I wanted to get faster at typing, so I said, let's just use Vim. I already use WSL on my laptop, so I might as well just run it there. I made my own configuration, very basic configuration, and that was it. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but at some time during my time at college, I just got motivated to use Vim for everything. Code editing, note taking, screenwriting. It's not screenwriting. But what is it called? Like writing down ideas, so on and so forth. Then I hit this kind of, I'm gonna call it a roadblock. I stopped using VS Code because there's a lot of shit I just didn't want to deal with, and it's just annoying that I have to sift through it the entire time. For whatever reason, I said let's use NeoVim. Let's make a custom configuration. Terrible idea, by the way. Didn't work out, and I just looked around and said, hey, there's a bunch of custom configurations. NVChat is one I heard of from a content creator that I enjoy. I think Mental Outlaw made a video on it, but that was before I saw his video on it. And I used NVChat. Naming scheme aside, it was actually really good. It was actually very cool for a while. But it had the same issue that VS Code had. It had a lot of extra shit I didn't need. There is nothing wrong with NVChat. I need to make that clear. You can use NVChat. You can use any extension you want. What your Vim configuration or even Emacs configuration looks like is entirely up to you, and you should keep it that way. Because by all means, it is not my place to judge you. When using NVChat one day, I just freaked out. I was like, I don't want this anymore. I deleted the entire configuration, deleted all extensions I downloaded, just removed everything. I said, I'm doing completely clean slate. I'm done. I don't want this anymore. And then I explored, made my own custom configuration. There was for note-taking, again, Neorg, and I think at some point I used VimWiki. I stopped using VimWiki. And I just got a basic LSP set up with Mason. And that's everything I needed. That's everything I wanted. I didn't need anything more. I didn't need anything else. And so, yeah, that's basically what happened. That's basically how I got more involved with Vim. This ties heavily with my knowledge of, just the general Unix tooling. I'm calling it Unix tooling because I'm very comfortable using, a MacBook, for instance. Not because I understand all the shortcuts. I don't give a fuck. It's like Weenie Hut Juniors, like Supreme Weenie Hut Juniors. I forgot what the joke was, but it doesn't matter. Using the terminal was just super easy for me. It just made complete sense. So I was like, yeah, I love this. This is something I want to do. I rarely ever use the Windows terminal now. I still rarely ever use it. The only time I ever use it is when I want to install something, and I use Chris Titus Tex's WinUtils tool. By the way, fucking awesome tool, by the way. I said by the way twice. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was more comfortable in a Unix environment the entire time, so I thought about actually just buying a Mac, shelling out buying a Mac, because I wasn't prepared to deal with the bullshit on Linux. You can look at me in the eyes and tell me, no, you can fix anything on Linux. There's never a problem with it. There's nothing wrong with it. That is a lie. That is a complete lie. I love Linux. I love the simplicity of it. While it just works now, let me fucking tell you, I run into problems all the time, albeit sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's my graphics card's fault, sometimes it just happens. Sorry if I rustle your jimmies, but this is just the truth. I'm not trying to make shit up, I'm not trying to make Linux look bad, but this is just how it is sometimes. And if you disagree with me, you probably have way more years of experience, or maybe you're just an asshole. What really got me interested in Linux, believe it or not, I'm sorry to say this, guys, it really wasn't Vim. This is what I use as my text editor now. This is what I use for, just all text-based things now. What pushed me towards Linux was the fact that I had to upgrade to Windows 11. While I am on Windows 11 now on my dual boot PC, and for whatever reason I got a comment saying, don't do it, it'll destroy your Linux system. I never had a problem with it. I mean, the only problem I had was I accidentally installed Windows after my Linux install. And if you understand why that's a problem, for whatever reason, Microsoft just destroys your EFI? I think it's what it's called, your EFI boot system or boot order, and says fuck you. So yeah, and I fixed it immediately. It's really not bad, guys. It's really not hard to do. Well, besides that, Windows 11 was probably the biggest reason why I don't like using Windows computers. I had to use it. I had to switch to it. While I am on it now, I use it begrudgingly for work, and thankfully, at least my desktop-wise, because now my current job doesn't require me to use my desktop at all. I can just use the laptop they provided, and so anything that Windows-based, I just use on my laptop. Everything I want to use on my computer, beautiful. Mwah, beautiful. Just always on Linux. Hell yeah. So the biggest reason why I switched to Linux was because of Windows Recall. Windows Recall might be the worst tool I've ever seen in my entire life. It might genuinely be the worst thing Microsoft have ever released. You can give Microsoft a lot of shit for doing X, Y, and Z. Their computer works. Their operating system works. But Windows Recall is the biggest security risk I've ever seen in my entire life. Are you telling me, listen, I'm not an important enough person to be scared of this kind of shit, but let's just say it happens. Or maybe, worst case scenario, someone just doesn't like me at all. Like, just hates me. Shit like this could ruin a person. Private information getting leaked, or worst case scenario, your banking information getting stolen. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they decided to say, yes, this is a fantastic idea. Surely nothing bad will happen, and nothing bad indeed, as long as we ignore the fact that Windows Recall still captured social security numbers and banking information. Let's ignore that completely, alright? So my entire premise was, I want to switch to Linux now. What do I use? I am so sorry for anyone trying to get started into Linux. It's the hardest thing for anyone to do, solely because there is an ungodly amount of Linux distros to use. I'm gonna link a few down if you're genuinely interested in switching. They usually come with guides to, tell you how to install it, this, that, whatever. And if you don't want to install it immediately, there's also live systems you can use, but performance may vary because it's running off a USB stick or maybe even a portable hard drive if you want to do that. I don't recommend it. But yeah, I'm going to link a few that I know of that are very easy to use, very simple to use. There is no personal preference. The order doesn't really matter. I'm just going to post it as I think is the best. But when I started, I already was familiar with the terminal. I was very comfortable using Arch because WSL had an external Arch distribution for it, and I think they offer it officially now. So I use Arch primarily. So I was like, this is what I want to use. This is what I want to do completely, and it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. I switched to Endeavor OS. Endeavor OS, if you don't know what that is, it is Arch made for dummies. This isn't a joke. This is literally it. It's just Arch with an installer, a proper installer, not Arch install, with an installer and a flavor. Otherwise, it is straight up just Arch. I know there's more features that are built underneath it. There's a lot of other shit I'm not talking about. We don't have to talk about that. It's okay. Everything is fine, guy. On my laptop, it works flawlessly, and I'll get to. And I think I mentioned it earlier why I had problems with it. But my laptop works flawlessly. I started with that, and from there I was like, this is it. I like this so much. And I installed Sway. I'm on Wayland on my laptop because I'm not doing anything crazy. I don't need to do anything specific. Wayland is just fine for me, all things considered, because it just works, and it's all I needed to do. On my desktop, on the other hand, I did load up Endeavor OS. My problem was when I installed Endeavor OS, Arch ran into an issue where we couldn't access NTFS drives. That was not happy. It was not a happy time. But that was beside the point. It was still a great system to use. I never really had a problem with it. Some Flatpak apps just didn't work ever. Why? But yeah, that's unfortunately just how using Arch works. Half the time, it's unstable. They don't tell you this. They don't want to tell you this. But yes, that's the fact and that's the reality. If you're disagreeing with me saying, "Oh no, you're stupid. You're wrong." No, I'm not stupid. I'm not wrong. It is just unstable half the time. Listen, it worked flawlessly on my laptop. There were still Arch problems I ran into because sometimes I booted up and it just it just didn't work properly. Sometimes there was no sound. So, yes, yeah, no Arch distribution. Arch, specifically Arch distribution, not Arch-based distribution. I'm talking about you, Manjaro. I actually use it right now. It's no problems with it so far. So on my desktop, that's when the real issues actually started occurring. Sometimes I just launch my computer, there's no sound. Just like my laptop. Okay, so maybe it's just like an Arch thing. It's whatever. Sometimes I launch my computer. It just crashes. Like, I've actually never seen Linux do a hard crash before in my entire life. Linux actually is not prone to a hard crash. It, like, rarely ever happens. For whatever reason, it hard crashed on my desktop. I could blame NVIDIA for this, but there just comes some point where, like, everything is not NVIDIA's fault. Listen, NVIDIA is doing a lot better now, but fucking hell, like, years ago, the open source drivers were, like, were reversed engineered, so there were always problems with it, because fuck NVIDIA. Actually, like, fuck you, NVIDIA. And I switched to Mint. I was running into, like, similar issues, but also, I just didn't like Mint. It didn't, like, click with me. It just didn't make sense. I needed to do something more crazy. Something more, what is it called? Less user-friendly, which is a weird thing to say, because Linux, most popular distributions at least, are very user-friendly. Plug and play, that's it, you're done. Everything just works. Assuming that you're not using Windows Manager, and that's what I'm using right now. So, problems I run into are specifically my own, and yeah, it's not like, what is it called? I can blame myself or my computer for that. It's not like I can blame the operating system or my computer for that. This is literally something I decided to take on myself, and anytime I run into an issue, I usually find a fix for it. And right now I'm running Manjaro. I have my own Emacs configuration because I got interested in that, and yeah. That's basically my journey to Linux. It is fantastic. You're probably wondering, why did I say all that awful shit about Linux? I thought you said it's fantastic, very easy to use. It is. A lot of the problems that come from Linux is usually hardware-based, solely because NVIDIA. If you have a NVIDIA GPU, you're gonna run into a lot of issues, a lot of similar issues that I run into. They won't be exactly the same, but listen, it happens. And Manjaro right now, albeit it's an Arch-based system, it's not an Arch system, Arch-based system, it works as good as I want. I never ran into a problem booting up. There's no stability issues. It's just good. The issues I have, for instance, like with Team Fortress 2, the one thing I had to fix it with was just opening it windowed mode. I'm not even joking. Fucking windowed mode. But going back saying, I did say like a lot of negative things about my experience. This is solely because like you need to understand that I did say a lot of negative things about it. I was telling you guys about my experience. This is a lot of things that I've done were through my own fruition. A lot of problems I ran into was because of me. Albeit the issues with Endeavor OS, well, it wasn't specific to Endeavor OS, it was actually because of Arch itself. That was where most of my issues came from. Mint came from me just wanting to do more of my system, and Manjaro just seemed like a good middle ground because I want an Arch system, but when I did that, it felt awful. So I said, Manjaro's fantastic. I don't know if it's gonna lag, but literally my fucking computer blacked out again. Thank you, DWM. I have to configure it. This is literally my fault. This is 100% my fault again. I did talk about a lot of negative things about Linux, and listen, like, you will run into some of these issues that I've talked about. Maybe not, because again, like, this is just... Again, a lot of it was because of me, specifically. So, maybe not. Well, I don't think I've ever had an easier time using a computer in my entire life. I'm more specifically talking about KDE Plasma. Some people hate it, some people like it. Coming from a Windows experience, as a Windows user, everything just made sense. Like, there was never a problem with it. I'm being serious when I say this. Like, I have a drawing tablet. The fact that I was able to plug it in, I remember midstream, I plugged it in, and it just started working. And I remember I actually had to take a step back for a second, like, what the fuck? Linux got to a point where you're able to just do plug-and-play stuff is absurd. 10 years ago, hearing about Linux, the improvements that it was making, while it's making great strides, it was never at a point where it was just like this. I remember, I watched a video where a guy, James Lee, the fucking animator, dropped Adobe completely. He dropped Windows completely. And he described Linux perfectly. Linux is simple. You can do whatever you want to it. You can make it as complex as you want to it. And it has never been more real. If you just want to use a computer, I'm talking you boot up your computer, it runs as normal. You just want a computer to browse the web, watch videos, do some office work in. That's it. That's all you need. If you're working with spreadsheets, I know Excel's a bit of a, what is it called, specific use case, because it does some things that I know some other spreadsheets don't do. You can still do it regardless. It is possible, albeit, like, I know, listen, like, going from Excel to a different spreadsheet is a bit of a, yeah. But the fact is, you are able to do it. You are 100% able to do it. People used to say that the one reason why Linux will never grow as it is because it requires time. And if you want to get more into, like, the insane shit that Linux has to offer, again, window managers, you don't have to do that. You can just run, for instance, KDE Plasma and get the experience that you want. You get the experience of a working computer. You don't ever have to go into the terminal. It just works. And I genuinely believe that this is something that everyone should at least try. I genuinely mean it. Linux might be the future of computers. That's stupid. That's stupid. This is the year of the Linux desktop, 2025. All kidding aside, if you're very interested in trying Linux, please leave a comment below. I'm genuinely curious to see how many people are actually interested in trying the Linux, and if you are, I'm more than happy to just showcase what you can do with Linux, albeit it won't be great because I'll be working inside VMs specifically, but I think it'll be interesting. And I think it'll be a nice use case to show people how to, run Linux, or at least get started in Linux. I want more people to try. I want more people to be freed from the bullshit that Microsoft is doing, because the only way for Microsoft to get better, this just goes with anything, by the way. You need to make the switch. You need to do it. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how many people use Linux in the world. I don't know how many people use Windows in the world. It doesn't matter. If you really want to see good changes, you have to stop supporting the guy who runs everything. I don't know. I'm just a guy who's passionate about Linux. I know it's a bit of a boring video because I wasn't that funny guy that everyone's used to, and that's okay. That's fine. I usually reserve that enthusiasm for my streams, which I just do mostly gaming. Why? Because I'm creatively bankrupt. This is why I'm talking about Linux, and you will suffer with me. All right? Thank you. I'm genuinely curious to what you have to say. I'm genuinely curious about your Linux journey, because sometimes it's not the same. Some people start way earlier than me. Some people started a little after me, or even today. I'm genuinely curious. Please let me know, and I wish you all the best. I'll be seeing you guys next time from normal Linux user. A bad reference.